Yeah, we put in work and here's the proof. What you want?
I'm making moves, punching in.
I'm on it too.
I'm in the gym.
I'm in the stew.
It's hunting season.
Where's the food?
We push each other daily, level up.
Cause that's what brothers do.
Clock in.
What's up, y'all? Marshall Hamilton here, co-host of Clocking the Podcast. We have something a little different for you all today. Shout out to my brother, Austin Hamilton, the other co-host, who's at a wedding right now in Charlotte. Congrats to Ryan and Shelby Winters. They got married yesterday, and I know it was a great time with all the Elon players that Austin played with reuniting. But we didn't want to not do an episode and not put out something valuable for you all. So this is going to be kind of like a mini episode based on kind of what's on my heart, man, and what's going on in the country, what's going on in the world. And I know our first episode was really centered around, unity is greater than division, right? It was around the time of George Floyd's death. Country was being split apart racially, culturally, and we just felt like we had to get a message out that anybody could listen to and take action on, right? And the main theme was unity. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today in a variety of ways. Again, this won't be long. But 9/11 was yesterday. It was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And I think if you were alive, if you were over like 4 or 5 years old, you remember exactly where you were, what was going on. It didn't matter what your race was. It didn't matter what your religion was. It didn't matter where you were from, what political party you affiliated with. Like, that memory is stuck in everyone's mind. I was in my 5th grade classroom. Miss Pike was the teacher, and kids just started getting called out of class and didn't really know what was going on. And as a 10-year-old, selfishly, I'm like, I'm trying to bounce too. And I asked the teacher, what's going on? Like, why are all these kids leaving? And she couldn't say anything, but you could see on her face that something wasn't right. So I get back home, and actually before that on the bus, I started to hear, bits and pieces of what had gone on, right? But again, I'm 10 years old. Like, I don't really know the gravity of what happened. And then when I got home, I saw my mom's face, and she was very emotional, and I ended up watching the news and hearing about what happened at the World Trade Center and at the Pentagon. What almost happened at the White House or Capitol if the brave people on flight, I think it was 713, don't quote me, didn't take over that plane and make it crash. So that memory is etched into my mind forever. And what I saw come out of that was special. You saw American flags pretty much in every household. That's probably the most unified I've ever seen this country, right? And it's because we had a common enemy to be mad at, right? To fight against. And what I will say is, as that enemy has kind of gone by the wayside and kind of behind the scenes, I guess I have to say, I think depending on what you believe, you may think that that enemy is still out there. And America's always going to have enemies, but from a war perspective, we kind of forgot, man, what it meant to be unified. It's like if we're not physically fighting against somebody, we're not unified. Well, right now, the media, different people out in the world, they're trying to tell everybody who their enemy should be, whether it's white people, black people, people who are for the vaccine or not for the vaccine, people who are for masks or not for masks, people of certain religions, people who believe in abortion and people who don't believe in abortion. Like, we have to take a step back and realize, like, we're all on the same team. We're all on the same team. Politics, religion, whatever, it's being used to separate us. this isn't a sports thing. Like, it's not Yankees versus Red Sox. It's not Lakers versus Celtics, Cowboys versus Redskins. Like, we're all Americans at the end of the day. Do some of us have different challenges that are unique to us? Absolutely. Is this country perfect? Absolutely not. However, division is a real pandemic. We have a COVID pandemic going on right now that's been going on since last year. And yes, it is important, but that can't cure the division that is being spewed throughout the world and throughout the nation, right? There's no vaccine for that you can physically put into your body. You got to get your heart right? I'm a Christian. I believe there's certain things that you can reflect on as a Christian to get your heart right. But there are other religions that honestly say the same thing when it comes to how you treat people. Treating people how you want to be treated, right? But yeah, that's really what I see as the real pandemic. And that's something that we have control over. Like COVID, we don't really have control over it. Just call it what it is. I've seen people who have masks and wear them and are vaccinated who have still gotten it. I've seen people who haven't done those things and have gotten it. And then there are people who fit both descriptions who haven't gotten it. So we don't really know how this thing works. But when it comes to unifying, our communities, like, we have control over that. All right. What is our, like, as a country, like, what's our mission? Like, what are we going after? Like, what's our goal? Right? Like I said, with 9/11, the good thing that came out of that is we all understood what the goal was, which is come together, support the people who have been dealing with the tragedy, whether directly or indirectly, and then try to figure out how to, resolve the issue with who was responsible, right? We all knew what it was, but now there's 20 things that are being thrown out in the media or social media that we should care about every day. So we don't know, like, there's no common vision. So we really have to start thinking about for yourself, like, what are my values, and how do they align to help this country? My dad preached a sermon today, and he asked himself, he said, Walter, what are you doing to help? What are you doing to help yourself, to help your community, to help your county, your state, to help your country, and help this world, right? But now everybody's pointing the fingers. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. If they didn't do this or if they did do that, we wouldn't be where we are. Well, guess what? You can't control that. Control what you can control. Let's not wait for something as tragic as 9/11 to happen again for us to be unified. And unity doesn't mean you agree. It means despite whether you agree or not, you're still going to look at each other for who they are in the best in that person, so that you all can, again, strive towards the common goal. And I think everyone's common goal, whether you're in this country or not, I'm going to speak for Americans, we're all trying to have a better life, right? Like, everybody. We're all trying to have a better life. We're all trying to get to the best possible result that we can get to. And then there's disagreement on what's the best way to get there or what's causing us from not getting there. That's where a lot of the issues lie. But at the end of the day, like, we all want personal happiness. We want the people who we love to be happy. And we have way more in common than people will want to admit, right? In the media will admit. Like, we're way more common as people than we are not in common, right? We all have the same basic needs. And again, we're all just trying to be happy. So let's keep that in consideration. As a clock-in ambassador, I guess, or CEO, I don't even know. I don't even know what to call myself, or Austin, but whatever. I'm not big on titles, but the movement is really about bettering yourself, like, overall, right? And what happens when you're bettering yourself is you're in a better position to serve others. When you're not bettering yourself, you're not in a position to really serve others because you're only focused on your needs, right? So clocking in isn't just about working out, reading, eating right, like all the physical things that and benefits that come from working hard or being the best at your profession, whatever that is. That's not what clocking in is just about. It's about being an inspiration to others through your example and using, you know, the resources and the talent and energy that you've gotten from clocking in to help your neighbor, right? But because of social media, because of the society, like it's all about us. It's all about me. And as a country, we're gonna fail. Like you can look at history. Most thriving civilizations didn't last more than 250 something years. We're almost at that point, like age wise, as a country. We're not an old country, and a lot of times we think we're invincible. Well, there's a lot going on today where if we don't wake up and get on the same page, you don't know what'll happen. All right. It's also about being an excuse remover. Like there's another pandemic, which is the pandemic of self-pity and unaccountability. Like when you're, again, clocking in or whatever you're doing, you're removing an excuse for someone else to not be their best self, to not put in the work and get a similar or better result than what you got, right? So again, be an excuse remover and do what you need to do to put others in a state of mind and give others hope that, you know what, if Eric or Nico or Marshall or Austin can do that, if they can leave their job and be a business owner, I can do it, or whatever the case is. We don't discriminate. Like that's the thing I love about what we're doing, man. We have people from all over the country, all religions, races, whether you're man, woman, straight, gay. It doesn't matter. Like none of that matters. The only place I really see that same kind of energy is in sports and the military, because you all have one mission. The mission is clear, and we clock in, we try to make it a clear mission when it comes to, again, locking in, being the best you can be. And it doesn't matter what your background is. Like anybody can do that.
Clock in family, Aham here. Appreciate you all for making it this far into the episode. If you enjoy our content, we've got something special for you. Check out patreon.com/clockin or download the Patreon app that's spelled Patreon and search Clock In the Podcast. You'll have a chance to become a subscriber of the podcast for access to bonus episodes, merchandise discounts, and much more, only at $5.10 a month. The link is also in the podcast description. All right, I'll shut up now and let y'all get back to it. Peace.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm a Christian. If y'all haven't listened to us before, just letting you know that you don't have to believe the same way I believe, but I think you'll still be able to relate. There are a lot of Christians who, they're very influenced by, political party or political reference or whatever the case is, denomination. And there was a saying in the late 90s that was very popular. What would Jesus do? You had bracelets, you had shirts, you had stickers on your car that you could post. And I'm just going to challenge you all, right? We're in this environment where if you don't agree with me, you're the enemy, or you're not a Christian, or you're not holy or whatever. That's not how Jesus operated. In fact, he went into areas and places where people didn't believe the same thing. And his motive was to convert them by action, not words, by action. So Christians, whether you're feuding with other Christians or people that aren't Christian, like it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, Republican, for the vaccine, not for the vaccine, for masks, not for masks, for what happened in Afghanistan or not, everything that's going on. You have to be the example, and we have to be the example of how to treat people regardless of whether we agree with them or not. Because that's not what it's about. It's about having the right heart, And if you really do want to change someone's mind, here's the number one thing you can do. You can listen to their perspective first. So I'm going to challenge everybody. Listen, do your own research, come up with your own thoughts based on facts. And regardless of whether you agree with another person's perspective, you know what, we're still on the same team. And we still want to move forward together. I mean, I'd agree with this and that, but you're an American, you're my brother, you're my sister, and we just want to make this country a better place. So that's my message to everybody. Appreciate you all listening to my soapbox. And as always, clock in. And let's not forget, unity is greater than division. Thank you.
Yeah. We put in work and here's the proof. What you want?
I'm making moves, punching in.
I'm on it too.
I'm in the gym.
I'm in the stew.
It's hunting season.
Where's the food?
We push each other daily, level up.
Cause that's what brothers do.
Clock in.